Oh, wouldn't it be nice if the American people got the noive? Where's your noive, folks? Have you been writing and calling and faxing and calling every radio talk show host and sending letters and email and faxing your congressmen and senators in the White House? You should be. You should be every moment. Forget about everything else until this crisis is over. Every single moment you need to be doing it. You must be doing it. Across America and around the world, you're listening to WBCQ, Monticello, Maine, USA. This is the Hour of the Time. I'm William Cooper. Good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah, Paul from Ohio.
Hello, Paul.
Yeah, are you familiar with David Hackworth, Colonel David Hackworth?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I guess I was looking at his website today, and he was saying that we should forget impeachment because we've got North Korea and Colombia and South America getting ready to fall, and Yugoslavia, and I guess he wrote this before the Iraq thing. Do you have any views on that, on his view?
Yeah, his view is bullshit. Absolute bullshit. This man is guilty of felonies, high crimes.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen to you if you lied to a grand jury?
They'd probably haul my butt away.
You better believe it. So what makes him so special?
I don't know.
And you should be questioning what kind of agenda Hackworth is serving.
Yeah.
I can tell you from what he's written and what he's done in the past that he is certainly not on the side of constitutional Republican government as it was established by the Founding Fathers. I can assure you of that.
Say this thing does, heat up a little more in Iraq, or say like something happens in Colombia and they start, building up a lot more like they did in Vietnam, and say we get rid of Clinton and we got Igor in charge. What do you think? How do you think we'll ride that out?
Gore is worse than Clinton, but nevertheless, you cannot make a deal with the devil. You cannot say Clinton's the lesser of two evils, so we can't impeach him. That's still a deal with the devil. We must do what is right no matter what.
Yeah.
Al Gore brings with him his own crimes. He's guilty of some major felonies. And we may have to have 2 or 3 impeachments right in a row to send a message to the scum-sucking, puke-faced, lying subversives in this country who want to destroy this government from within in order to straighten out Washington, D.C.
Yeah. All right, I'll let someone else on.
Well, thanks for your call. Those were important questions, and I'm glad I had a chance to address them. 520-333-4578. is the answer. Don't get enamored with leadership in the so-called patriot community, because I'm going to tell you right now, most of the so-called leaders in your so-called patriot community are not patriots at all. They're serving the Hegelian dialectic to serve up lies and disinformation and keep you spinning around in little cul-de-sacs, chasing your own tail, so you can never identify the true enemy, and what's even worse, you can never do anything about it. 520-333-4578 is the number. Good evening. You're on the air.
Good evening, Mr. Cooper.
Yes?
I have a question I'd like to ask you.
To so-called world peace in the Middle East. Hold on, you step out.
I was having a little problem there with the recording apparatus, and I don't want to lose a moment of this broadcast.
Oh, I don't want you to either.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, is this not true that Saddam Hussein is and connected as a partner in this oil business? And it seems to me, could it be that somehow they're all in bed together because of oil?
I don't know if it's necessarily because of oil. I think oil has a lot to do with it, but I think one world government is the absolute underlying factor in all of this. They had to create somebody who was so bad and so mean that they could scare the entire world with this person. And if you go back and you look at Hal Lindsey's tape, the late great Planet Earth, you'll see that even before Saddam Hussein became the boogeyman, they were preparing the world to look at him as the boogeyman because they've got Saddam Hussein portrayed in that video as the Antichrist.
Yeah,
in his Iraqi uniform, wearing his beret, it is Saddam Hussein. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. Then the United States, through major corporations and the intelligence community, in particular the Central Intelligence Agency, funneled technology and the means and equipment for him to be able to manufacture weapons of mass destruction, atomic bombs, chemical warfare, and biological warfare. This all came out in the congressional hearings. It has been available for the public to see for years.
Also, what puzzles me is that this Heinz Kissinger seems to be like a little devil behind all these situations that arise. And could it be coming from the city of London?
Absolutely. The Kissinger London connection was exposed many years ago. It's a well-known fact in the intelligence community. We all knew it in the Office of Naval Intelligence that Henry Kissinger was not operating ever in the best interest of the United States of America, but was operating, in fact, as a double agent for MI6 and the KGB.
So how come, Mr. Cooper, that Clinton is allowed, and as we know, if anyone with an ounce of brains knows that not one single person could have control of this world unless he was duly supported. Is that not correct?
Well, I'm not sure I understand what you said.
Well, to me, Clinton does take orders.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Anybody who believes that some Arkansas cracker who could just come out of the backwoods, so to speak. Right. And I'm not trying to insult the people in Arkansas, but if you look at the history of of William Jefferson Clinton, this guy is no great statesman. He doesn't have any great education. He is not presidential material, never was, never can be, never will be, and is not. He was put there by some very, very powerful interests, and it is those interests who dictate what is done from the White House.
Exactly. I'll ask one more question. Is this a prelude to become one world government?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I appreciate you, Mr. Cooper. Thank you.
Thank you. And Merry Christmas. I hope we get to have a Merry Christmas. This could really get very, very ugly. And it could do it, really quick, folks. But the American people have to wake up, and they have to do what is right. Nobody else can do that.
Your Majesty, if you were king, you wouldn't be afraid of anything?
Not nobody. Not no-how. Not even a rhinoceros? Impossible.
How about a hippopotamus?
Why, I'd trash him from top to bottom.
Supposing you met an elephant?
I'd wrap him up in cellophane. What if it were a brontosaurus? I'd show him who was king of the forest. How? Courage. What makes a king out of a slave? Courage. What makes the flag on the mast to wave? Courage. What makes the elephant charge his tusk in the misty mist or the dusky dusk? What makes the muskrat guard his musk? Courage. What makes the sphinx the seventh wonder? Courage. What makes the dawn come up like thunder? Courage. What makes the Hottentot so hot? What puts the ape in apricot? What have they got that I ain't got? Courage. You could say that again.
Good evening. You're on the air.
Good evening, Bill. This is Betty from Raleigh.
Hi, Betty.
Hi. I'm one of your strongest supporters, I think. And I was working last night, and my best friend was listening and said something about Gary North, and I wondered if you would repeat to me what you know about Gary North.
He's dead.
When did he die?
Quite a while ago. He's dead. Is somebody putting out information under his signature? Because he's dead. He died a natural death. He was an old man. He's dead.
How long ago?
Well, it had to be over a year ago.
Well,
Gary North is dead.
Gary North is dead.
Yes, he's dead.
And what faction did he represent?
Gary North was a 33rd degree Freemason of the southern jurisdiction of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. That is not our side, in case you were guessing.
And can you give me any validation for what you're saying? I mean,
he admitted it.
Validate it.
He admitted it. He published it in his own material.
You can't give me any better.
All I can tell you,
I have everything he's written.
He admitted it. He was a 33rd degree Freemason of the Scottish Rite.
You're saying he wrote it down.
You cannot be a 33rd degree Freemason unless you subscribe to the Luciferian philosophy.
Okay. Well,
I'm telling you that he admitted it publicly.
I really would suggest that maybe the validation of those two things is something that would be worthwhile.
He admitted it publicly. He admitted it in his own... Listen to me. He admitted it publicly. He wrote about it in his own writings, and he said that he had resigned from the lodge. That's absolute baloney. You don't become a 30... Will you let me finish, please? You don't become a 33rd degree Freemason and resign from the lodge.
I don't believe he's dead.
He is dead. His estate wrote to me.
I get his email, every day.
Lady, will you listen to me?
Yes.
When he died, his estate wrote to me, asking for a copy of the book where I had published some of his material. In my book, Behold a Pale Horse. They told me that he had died, and they wanted the material for validation of his writings in his estate.
Okay, well, I'll go on and I'll try and forward to you. Yeah, I'll try and forward to you the validation that I think it needs to be corrected. And
I think that somebody, maybe his wife, is still putting out material under his name because it may be the only source of income that the family has ever had. And I think that's what you'd better consider.
Yeah. Well, I'll check it and get some information to you.
Go ahead. Get all the information you want to me. I've already got it. I already know. He's dead. You don't have to believe it.
I'm going to leave it as maybe, and I will try and...
No, I'm telling you, I have already done the investigation. Gary North is dead. Dead.
Okay, unless it can be proved to you elsewhere. Is somebody else, you think?
Pardon?
Is somebody else representing him now?
Yes.
As though he is not dead.
That's what I think, exactly what I think is happening.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll check that out.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Folks, I'm not going to lie to you. His estate contacted me. They told me that he was dead. They sent me a letter, wanted a copy of my book, Behold a Pale Horse, because I had published a part of his information in the book. And they wanted that for the estate, for the validation of where he had been published and what work he had done, and all of that kind of stuff is what they told me. Okay? So you don't have to believe it if you don't want to. It's like I've always told you. Listen to everyone, read everything, believe absolutely nothing unless you can prove it in your own research. Now, if you can prove to me, and I mean absolutely prove to me that he's not dead, I'll come on the air and I'll say, I was mistaken. Gary North is not dead. But until you can do that, I already have sufficient information here that tells me that Gary North is dead. Good evening, you're on the air.
Bill?
Yes.
Is Matt here again? You're not mistaken, Nord Davis and Gary North here.
Pardon?
You're not crossing Nord Davis and Gary North.
Oh, you know what? I may be doing that.
You are doing that.
It's Nord Davis.
I gotcha. It's okay.
Well, I'm glad that you did, because I don't like being wrong. It is Nord Davis who died, and I sincerely apologize to the last caller.
Buddy, oh, by the way, you'll be pleased to know that Gary North was recently on Art Bell's show.
Oh, he was? What? That doesn't say much for him. Yeah, really.
But yes, I agree. Nord, with Nord, British Israelite Nord
is dead.
Like dead and buried, and that stuff in your book is North Point teams.
Yes.
Real, if ever I saw it. But Gary North is evidently still among the living, getting on the Art Bell show, selling his newsletter, and doing whatever else he does. One other thing about Sessions. His arm was broken by a fall, and I saw the fall on national television. He did not get jumped by from the CIA or anything. Not that you said that.
No, I did not. I did not say that.
People will take licenses. We both know. He fell. He tripped on a sidewalk and went ass over tea kettle, and that's how the arm got broken. And I saw it happen. Just for folks who are listening out there.
Okay. I'm glad that you called. It was Nord Davis, and I sincerely apologize to the last caller.
Nord Davis up in Topton, North Carolina with the North Point teams and big buddy of Bobo Greitz and promoter of the Greitz presidential campaign.
British Israelism, 33rd degree Freemason of the Scottish Rite, New World Order, Hegelian dialectic.
But not doing any of that these days, I'm afraid.
No, he's gone.
Later, alligator.
Oh, wait, tell us a little bit about Gary North.
Well, I don't know a lot about him. He tends to put out news. He's an economics guy. The market's going to blow up. He has a book out called Negatrends, for example. The market's going to blow up. Y2K is going to get us. Yada yada yada. It's that sort of thing. Newsletter, 200 a year or whatever. The usual.
Yeah.
That's basically what Gary North is about, and evidently he is amongst the living and was heard on
Art Bell
within the past 2 or 3 weeks by one of my buds. So that's where we stand.
Okay.
And as for his views on race, religion, politics, ask him, don't ask me.
Okay. Thank you.
Alligator.
I'm glad he called. I don't like to be wrong, but every once in a while, I am wrong, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why I keep telling you, listen to everyone, read everything, believe absolutely nothing unless you can prove it in your own research. That is absolutely correct. It's Nord Davis, and what confused me was that he promoted the North Point teams. And Nord Davis is the one who died, who was the 33rd degree Freemason of the Scottish Rite, who was acting as the Hegelian dialectic against constitutional Republican government. Even though he pretended to be for it, he absolutely was not. He put out a plethora of disinformation and lies all over the place. Good evening, you're on the air.
Hello, Bill. I was going to correct you on Gary North also.
Well, I'm glad you were, because if the other caller hadn't have called, then I would have, really been wrong tonight, and I don't like to be wrong.
Excuse me. I was wondering if you were referring to Gary Allen of the Birch Society.
No.
You think it was Nord Davis?
Oh, absolutely was Nord Davis, yes.
Okay. You were sure it was Gary North too?
No, it was the North Point team thing that got me confused.
Okay.
It was Nord Davis.
All right.
No doubt about it whatsoever.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and thanks for calling. Whenever I make a mistake, folks, please correct me. If not on the air, send me a letter or call me the next day or something, because it's absolutely important that we're doing the right thing here, and I'm well known for that. But every once in a while, I will make a mistake. I will never, ever forget in my life that one night I did an entire broadcast on Benjamin Franklin. I've researched Benjamin Franklin. I have more biographies of him and papers and copies of letters that he wrote and the history in which he was involved, and also of Thomas Jefferson. And I have read all of it. I have studied their lives probably as much as anybody alive. And one night I did a broadcast talking about the life of Benjamin Franklin. And every time I was saying something, it was incredible. I've got to tell you, folks, that, every single time that I meant to say, well, that's wrong, see, now I'm doing it again. And I don't know why I do this. I was talking about Thomas Jefferson and how he had written his own Bible. And every time I meant to say Thomas Jefferson, I said Benjamin Franklin throughout the broadcast. And what was so bad about it is nobody in the listening audience caught the mistake. I was so embarrassed over that. I'm still embarrassed over that to this day. And as you just heard, I started to do it again. Something about their two lives gets me mixed up when I go to talk about them as to which one is which. And I don't know why that is, because their lives are so different and opposite, even though they were fighting for the same cause. And what I was talking about that night was Thomas Jefferson's involvement with the Illuminati, and the fact that he defended Adam Weishaupt and his ideas and his secret society, and the fact that he had literally torn up the accepted King James Version of the Christian Bible and wrote his own Bible, and had said publicly that he didn't believe that such a God could exist. And all through the broadcast, every time I meant to say Thomas Jefferson, I said Benjamin Franklin. And so, from time to time, I make a mistake. And sometimes it's a major mistake. And I welcome correction. I ask for it. I've asked for it over and over and over again. And if you can prove it, or make me come to believe and understand that it's wrong, then I'll get on the air and I will correct it. Where are we?
Forward! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come. Step forward, Tin Man. You dare to come to me for a heart, do you? You clinking, clanking, clattering collection of collisionous junk! And you, scarecrow, have the effrontery to ask for a brain, you billowing bale of bovine fodder!
Yes, Your Honor. I'm
Your Excellency, your wizardry.
Enough! And you, lion! Well?
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, frightening him like that when it came to you for help.
Silence, whippersnapper! The beneficent Oz has every intention of granting your request.
What do you say? Huh? What do you say?
But first, you must prove yourselves worthy by performing a very small task. Bring me the broomstick of the Witch of the West.
But if we do that, we'd have to kill it again.
Bring me her broomstick, and I'll grant your request. Now go.
But what if she kills us first?
I said go!
Good evening. You're on the air.
Yes, Bill. I've got a very interesting question. Iraq is the other side of Africa. How in the world are they a threat to our national security?
I don't know what you mean by the other side of Africa.
I'm looking at a map. Syria.
Are you sure Iraq is on the continent of Africa?
No. They're what would you call it, to the east of Africa?
There you go. Now you're talking.
Okay.
They're on the Persian Gulf.
Exactly. How can they threaten us?
They can't. They've never been a threat to us. They've never threatened us. In fact, they were our ally. We built Iraq. We put Saddam Hussein in power. We armed him. We gave him airplanes. We gave him ammunition. We gave him technology and chemicals. And we even gave him the cultures to manufacture biological warfare. Came from the United States. They had held hearings on this, and this was all exposed in Congress. We made this man what he was because he was our ally, and he was used by the Central Intelligence Agency in a war with Iran when we considered Iran to be our greatest enemy.
And Bill Clinton's out there telling us that he is protecting us from Saddam Hussein.
From us, if you want to know the truth. We created this guy.
Yeah.
He are us. Remember when Pogo, I don't know if you ever read Pogo. It was a cartoon that appeared in the Sunday papers.
Yeah, I read papers.
Well, this was a long time ago. I remember when I was a boy, I read Pogo, and one day him and Churchy and all the little creatures in the swamp got in this little Piro boat and went off into the swamp in search of the enemy. Well, they didn't even know if there was an enemy. There wasn't any war. Nobody had hurt them. They just went off looking for the enemy. And then for several weeks, the comic strip followed the antics of the people who were left behind in the little swamp community. And then one day, Pogo and Churchy and all the guys the little animals, Churchy was a turtle and Pogo was a possum, and there were all these little animals. Well, they came back from their expedition. And when they landed their little Piro on the beach, all the people came down to greet them. And when Pogo stepped off the boat, he raised his sword and he said, "I have found the enemy, and they are us."
I've heard that.
And that was one of the most profound statements I've ever seen in my life.
I was glad to hear about Nor Davis. Not Nor Davis.
Gary North. Nor Davis died.
Nor Davis, yeah. He had attacked a friend of mine, and I just did not know. I didn't have any proof as to what was going on, and that was interesting to find out that he might be the demon that I've been told that he is.
Oh, absolutely he was.
Okay.
I'm very sorry, and I apologize once again that I got him mixed up with Gary North. I certainly had no intention of doing so.
You're guilty of being human.
Yeah, I try to tell people that. They try to put me up on pedestals and hold me to these high expectations, but most people who listen to this broadcast don't understand that I'm no different than any of you out there. I just know a little bit more because I've worked my butt off to learn it. And there is no difference whatsoever. If you came and spent 3 days with this family, you would find nothing extraordinarily out of the ordinary from your own family.
Of course not. You know, you're not a god, and you let us know that you're not a god.
Well, unfortunately, most people don't do that. and it's also unfortunate that even though I do, there are some people in the audience who don't believe it. They want me to be a god.
We do.
That's how we get ditto heads in Rush Limbaugh's audience.
I was a ditto head. Several years ago, I just absolutely worshipped Rush Limbaugh until I read your book and finally started to wake up and realize, oh dear, something's wrong here. And then started looking into congressional record and presidential executive orders and realized
Rush wasn't telling you the truth.
No.
But he knew what the truth was.
Yes. He is in David's pocketbook.
Yep. Better believe it.
Okay, I'm going to run.
Well, thank you for calling. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thanks, Bill.
Good night. 520-333-4578 is the number.